Well, our soybeans are harvested, but we need to cultivate this ground. We don't have a cultivator, though. Fortunately, we've got a plough we can sell and a front seed box. Hello and welcome along. Once again, we are going big today on Estancia Lapacho. And yeah, we've come down to the shop because we need a cultivator. Our seeder does not have cultivating ability. We also have this these two bits of kit that we aren't really going to be using. So this front box is not something we can use. It doesn't connect up to our seeder properly. And to be honest, our seeder actually, with its full capacity, does the entire field. So that's not any use to us. And as well, you can see the plough that I'm disconnecting here as well. The big Salford non-reversible plough. I should have hired that at the time instead of buying it. We only really needed it the first time we did the field. We're not doing any root crops or any corn or anything like that at the moment. So we've no use for that at all. So let's sell these two. So we are going to sell this. 65,000. Perfect. Okay. And then we've got our second one to sell as well. Which is 7,000 we'll get for that. So that gives us 167,000. Now, I need to buy a cultivator, but I also want to buy a field. So, let's have a look at how much Field 5 is and whether it needs any work on it. So, Field 5 is 126,000. That would leave us with about 40,000. I don't think that's enough for us to buy our cultivator, to be honest. Cultivator, the maximum we can get for this vehicle is 68,000. 68,000 is 400 horsepower, which we actually would do us well. We won't really lose any money. It's an 8 meter versus a 6 meter on the horse, which is 100 horsepower less. We are going big. We want to get the biggest we can. So let's get the Amazon. So we're going to buy that, and we're going to take that back up to the field. What it does mean is that we need to go and do a mission as well, or a contract as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our Fent here started with this piece of kit. And once it's got working and doing stuff, we're going to go and hopefully do some sunflowers with the... with our combine, if we're lucky. So I'm going to get this up to the field, and once we get this started with a hired worker, we will see what we have available to do as far as contracts go. Right, we are up at our field now, and let's get this unfolded and lined up. There we are. Right, reverse up. And away we go. So, we'll put the hired worker on this and get it going. And while we're sitting here with this, just checking that its first run is good, let's have a look at what missions we have available. So, what we're ideally looking for, I think, is Field 8. Or Field 4. Field 4 harvesting is available. 2,700 for Field 4. Full of canola, that's pretty good. Field 8 is worth more money to us. And we can use our own equipment with. We should be alright with... well, we've got our combine going. So I think what we'll do is we'll do Field 4. Yeah, we'll do Field 4. We can then not have to worry about getting our trailer over there. We can take this tractor off the field quickly and get that sorted. You know what? Actually, no. We're going to do Field... So we're going to do Field 8. We're not going to use the thing. We'll pull this tractor off the cultivating when we need it. So let's accept that contract. And yeah, let's go get us some sunflowers. So we will drop our trailer off this, start our combine up, and our sunflower header is just over here. Now what we're going to have to do is when we get a full tank, we're going to have to get our tractor off the cultivator, drop that off, and bring our trailer over, just to give us something to empty into. There we go. That's our sunflower header on. And if we unfold our combine, we can go straight in onto field 8. So field 8 is up over this way. Sunflowers with this sunflower header means we can get it done quicker. We have a larger combine than the combine that was on offer for this mission, so we should be able to get that done even faster as well. We will take the headlands out first as always. So starting up our combine, and away we go. So yeah, as you can see, this is already going at like 9 miles per hour, which is a lot faster than it would if it was a corn header. I'm going to put myself on to cruise control for this, because it just makes things easier and just knock the speed down. So sunflowers, it seems to be that our setup, so our own setup on here, is that we're doing sunflowers and corn. Sorry, sunflowers and soybeans, and sort of alternating between those two. That's what we are going to be seeding in that field next time, is sunflowers. This header, of course, is hired, but that should be offset easily by how much we make off of this contract. And it'll offset also how much our hired worker is costing to be doing our cultivating as well. As I said, we're going to have to do a little bit of shifting around and things in order to get things to work properly insofar as unloading this. I'm interested to see how well the sunflowers do off here, how many we get. Obviously, to compare to the soybeans, they're worth slightly less than the soybeans are, but our field is slightly smaller. So if we get a full trailer off of here, it will be interesting. It will be, you know, is it worth us doing sunflowers more than soybeans? Not a huge thing, seeing as we are doing those two things in general anyway. But we should easily have saved enough money from not leasing the equipment to get this done as well. It is a reasonable sized field, this. It really is. Right, that is the headlands done, and we're basically, we can just cut into the middle of this now. We're in a position where it's fairly simple. We're not yet at a full tank. We've not yet had to pull our tractor over, so that's good. It's we're easily gonna fit all of this in a single tank, or sorry, in a single trailer, I should say. So it's going to be nice and easy mission for us. We'll get everything, a nice easy contract for us, sorry, and we'll get everything done and dusted in one go. I'm really pleased again with how this sunflower header is working. It just works an absolute treat. The yield is not huge, and I'm just going to pause for a moment, jump out. And we look here, and it's not fertilized though, and it needs ploughing. So I'm not surprised actually the yield is a little bit lower. That would explain quite a bit actually, with it not being ploughed and not being fertilized. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me if I need to plough after sunflowers, because that is the one thing I worried. Now we've sold the plough, I've got this niggling feeling in the back of my mind that I also then need to plough after doing sunflowers. So we're going to have to check that out. We're going to have to see what happens. There is a thing where I'm not sure if our fields that we bought, field 6, was ploughed before we harvested it either. I know the bit that we've got left does need ploughing. The bit that we missed when we were ploughing last time. So there is that. I probably should have had a quick run up the side with that, but never mind. It'll be our little bit of land that just produces worse yield all the time. Right, we're not far off being full at the moment, so we're going to keep going, and I'll come back once we've got our trailer here and our unloading. Right, so just dropping our cultivator off the back here and heading over, pick our trailer up. Our sunflowers are getting, or our combine is getting quite full with sunflowers at this point, and we need this to make sure that we can complete our contract. There we go. And it is one of the downsides we have at the moment, is that we are in a position where, because we've only been able to afford one tractor, because we've basically spent a lot of money, we are in a position where we can't have both a tractor cultivating and a tractor doing any carting, which is an annoyance, to be honest. But it does mean that we don't have that extra expense. There we go. Yeah, you can see the braking issue on this combine there. So the helper has obviously put the brakes on as soon as it's got full. And yet the combine has still run into the crop a bit. Ah, there we go. I'm trying to position this. Not as easy as it looks. There we go. Right, so we'll drop this trailer off here. That can stand in the field. And we can empty that. We'll get this back on the cultivator and get this working again. And yeah, I will be right back. Right, so our tractor is back cultivating. We are back doing the sunflowers. There we go. And we've got about 2 more rows to go ourselves, which should work out really nicely. We will head over to the cultivator after that and take charge of that ourselves a bit. But this contract has gone pretty well, to be honest. It has been interesting to see what the yield is on here without the plough and without the fertilizing. It's gonna be about a tank and a half. So you might have got 2 tanks off here, fully fertilized and fully ploughed, which is interesting. Comparing, because this is about, I think this field is about 2/3 to 3/4 the size of our field. So yeah, the sunflowers do produce more. They do actually sell for a very similar price. I think there was like $100 between the two. So yeah, it would seem that sunflowers might be that smidge more profitable than soybeans. We shall see when we come to do our own sunflowers, because that is what we are doing next. It is what we're going to be seeding in our main field. We got a seeder that basically has a range. Every single thing you plant with it has a different head, and yeah, we can only do sunflowers and soybeans with it at the moment, without actually renting anything else. So that's why we're doing sunflowers next, because I don't want to do soybeans again. This is chomping through this, and in no time we'll have this finished. Our cultivator is making good progress. You can see that our cultivator is about halfway through the field. So we'll get that finishing. He is going to have an issue in a moment, because he's going to, I think there's some equipment in his way at that end of the field. Now, if he manages to turn around, that would be fantastic. Right, let's get this down. Right, coming to the end of the contracted field. Fantastic. So we'll turn off our thresher. We'll get this out. And of course our trailer is down this end. It would have been better to have had it down the far end, but that's okay. 293 on the wage payment between this and our other bit. Yeah, look at that. Wow, that is the brakes. Going at full pelt, that is the brakes on this combine. And slightly downhill. There must be an adjustment I can make to this mod that controls that and that handles that. But it really does not slow down anywhere near quick enough. Okay. So yeah, one thing we do need is we need a second tractor on this, on here. Unfortunately, we cannot borrow money at the moment, which is what's really hampering us. It's what's causing us to have to do so many contracts. So I've got my trailer of sunflowers, and once again we are heading down to the bakery to complete this contract. We've got 21,975 litres of soybeans, of sunflowers, off this field. So it's not that big a yield, not that massive a yield. It's an interesting one, I think. We will see what happens when we can do a direct comparison between soybeans and sunflowers. That will be useful. For the moment, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how different the yields are, whether there's just maybe a slightly different setup. Alright, we'll just double check before we tip these. Yeah, this is where it's flashing for our contract. So let's tip them. And then we can complete our contract. And we do seem to end up at the bakery an awful lot. There we go. So we made an extra $2,342 off that. Let's complete our contract. So 5,201. So that was actually a really good contract for us. That takes us up to $106,000. We need, for our field, we need 126. So we need another $20,000. Maybe that we do our sunflowers and then buy it. For now, though, all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos and live streams from FendtFarmer, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.